You want to get to me, you've got to make my gatekeepers like you.
Jeff Watson.
Guys, you just opened up a floodgate.
When you put a powerful lawyer that everybody looks up to on a podcast with a marketing and a systems genius,
John Cochran.
Investors all across the entire country, they're making massive mistakes right now, and they need a better playbook.
Phil, not ignore.
Every single thing that we deliver in this podcast,
Stay in those strategies. Stay in those strategies.
insider information only.
Stay in those strategies.
This is the Real Estate Investors Playbook.
Step on the gas. Give me the green light, 'cause I'm ready to go. Let's have a good time.
Hello and welcome, everybody. We are back for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Playbook, along with my good friend, Jeff Watson. What's going on, my man?
Hello, man. It is great to be here, be with you, and let's get into this, man. This has got to be one of my favorite topics for you and I to talk about. So, dude, I'm gonna let you kick it off, and we're gonna roll from there.
I love it. Well, I'm obviously John Cochran, and really today what we're going to talk about, which we've titled this podcast, how fewer betters will scale your real estate investing business for you. And really the big question that you need to ask yourself right now, and I want you to really envision this, is, oh my gosh, your business over the next 12 months has been scaled and grown for you. You're like 10xing what you did in the past 12 months. And how in the world are you going to get it to that? How are you going to get your business to scale really and happen for you on almost automatic? I don't want to say guaranteed, but pretty damn close to it. And really what we're talking about is the fewer better. So, Jeff, for everybody out there onto the line, what would you tell everybody? What is the definition of what we're calling a fewer better?
All right. So let's do it this way. Fewer better means that you're working with fewer people. You're working on fewer things, but you're working on the better things, and you're working with the better people.
Yeah.
You're working with quality people that you're like, man, I'm lucky to be hanging out with these people. Why'd they let me in? Why'd they let me?
Relationships.
Yeah, fewer people, better relationships, better quality people. And I'm not talking about they have to have more money. No, they might have better connections. They might have better relationships with other areas in your market that you don't have. They might have skills that you are pathetic at, okay? Spent some time today with a lady that's doing some property management for me. Man, my property management skills are pathetic compared to hers. So she's one of my fewer better. She's far better at this business at the management stuff than I am. Far better. I just trust her judgment and go, So that's what I'm talking about. And, it's kind of similar to what I tell some of my lawyer buddies who are a little bit long-winded. Less is more.
Mm-hmm.
Less is more. If I'm working with fewer better people, I've got fewer interruptions. I've got fewer people sucking my time down. And when I am engaged, I'm engaged with people that, man, they're my battle buddies. They're my deal buddies, I could tell story after story after story, but I mean, literally, I got a phone call today from a guy that I have done 10 deals with or more this year. And he's like, I got another deal. I got 50 grand, bang. This is bad to say on a podcast, but John, I haven't driven past the house. John, I haven't looked at the borrower's loan application. John, I haven't looked at the scope of work. I just know that this is a track record that is good. This is one of my fewer better guys. Man, I committed. I'm in.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is you and I did, some deals in 2018, and, quite honestly, I didn't question you at all in those deals. You didn't question me in those deals. I brought you the deals. We made these deals happen. We were able to do the deals tax-free. And at the end of the day, you never questioned if they were really good deals. You never questioned if they were in great areas. You never questioned if we'd even be able to sell these things. You didn't question any of that, nor did I question any of your paperwork. I didn't question anything that
Yep.
you did because you're fewer better to me with this.
Yeah. The title company closed on my paperwork. And I can tell you the God's honest truth, John, I don't think I saw a picture of the exterior of any one of those houses.
No, I know you didn't.
I didn't see what any of the houses looked like. All I knew was my paperwork was in line, your paperwork was in line, title company closed on the buy, title company closed on the resale. We're done. Checks cleared
Yep.
the bank. We're happy.
And that's
And like you said, tax free.
that doesn't suck. That doesn't suck.
No. I mean, if you, I don't know. Should I be embarrassed to say that between yours and my positions and that stuff, it was close to $120,000 tax
I was
free?
gonna say it just on those transactions, it was well over $100,000 tax free.
Yeah, tax free.
And that's exactly what we mean by the fewer betters, and I would ask everybody that's listening to this, well, who is your fewer better? And you might not feel like you have any right now. And some of you guys might just really start looking at this and be like, man, I need some new people to hang out with. I need some fewer betters into my life. And, but here's the thing.
Can I give a strategy or a beginning strategy on the fewer better?
Absolutely.
This really times in with a concept you want to do in the first couple months of 2019. Go through your email inbox and start opting out of all of the also rans. Get it down to where you're just looking at emails from me, from John, and a couple other key people that have got good quality content. Get down to those fewer better people and get rid of everybody else. That didn't cost you anything except a little bit of time cleaning up your email box.
You have to. I mean, you really, really honestly have to. Jeff, how many, now that we've really defined fewer betters, and guys, I'm going to give all of you guys an example at the end of this and how this really ties to real estate and how the light bulb is really going to go off with you and how you can bring in a lot of deals from a fewer better. And oh, by the way, you only need one of them. And you can do very powerful things this year. But in your opinion, now that everybody knows kind of what we're defining as a fewer people, better relationships with those people, you can really move mountains with that. And really honestly, when you have fewer betters into your life, there's really not many people on this planet you can't touch by having the right people around you. Jeff, what is a good number like that you would say that you would need in your life? Fewer betters. How many do you need?
I'm going to go 8 people, give or take. 8 people, give or take. And I'm going to give you a couple of perspectives on that. They don't all have to be at the same level. You might have 2 tiers in that, and then you can take it out to like a dozen people. But I mean, in my top dozen contacts, I can reach any real estate investor in the United States of America, and I can reach into the White House of the United States of America inside of my top 12 contacts. Okay.
And think about how powerful that is, because I can't get to the White House. I don't have those connections. But you know what? I've got a fewer better that can. And see
yep,
that
exactly.
That right there is how you guys scale. And that's what I have found out over the past few years, just in life and business. But think about this as a real estate investor. Jeff, do you fully believe that by having 8 fewer better people into your life, that you can find more deals?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So do you also believe that since, by having fewer better people that you can find more deals, do you feel like there's a deal that by having fewer better people into your life, those 8 quality people that you're having into your life, do you also feel that you could get any deal funded?
Any good deal funded, yes.
I
any
agree.
good deal funded. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I've got a guy, the friend of mine that first name's Ryan. He runs 2 large funds that invest in real estate. If I had something that needed massive funding and it was a screaming great deal, one phone call, one text message to Ryan. He's in my circle of 12. Bang, it's done.
And see that's exactly what we're talking about. There's when you have the right people into your life, there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you can't do. So we should all be fighting like crazy. Into our everyday life, we should be fighting like crazy to really create that powerful circle around us that we can get anything done, because that's the truth to growing. That's the truth of growing.
So let's talk about this for just a minute, because I can just hear somebody going, but John, but Jeff, I'm not a really well-known real estate investor. I don't dominate my market like John does. I'm not a lawyer like Jeff is. How am I going to do this? I can't do that. You start where you are.
Yeah.
You start where you are. I'm going to tell you something. You find the best people in the RIA meetings, in the meetups, in the get-togethers in your market. You find the best people and you try and connect with them. And if you feel that that's not elevating your game, then you start going to good quality events. How do you think I got to build a network across the United States of America? Because I went to networking events where people from all over America come in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I did. And then be prepared to give. Help. Give, help. And then John, you've taught me this. After I give, after I help, what happens then? They feel like they have to reciprocate.
Yeah.
They feel like they've got to reciprocate.
It all comes back to you, for sure.
Yep.
It really is the key to business. It really is the key to business, to have fewer, better people into your life. You don't need a ton of these things. Jeff, you made a Facebook post about this a few weeks ago. I saw, and I can tell that you are growing as a person, because you know that we're not in this business as marketers. You're like not the best marketer ever.
I suck at marketing. Let's be straight, John. I suck at marketing.
But you're really, really good at relationships. You're really, really good at relationships. And that's really what this is. When you create your sphere, when you create your circle, it is nothing more than just deep relationships. That's called fewer betters. Fewer people, better relationships with those people. In 2015, I had a big aha that being a real estate investor, I was not, you think in order to generate leads, oh my gosh, you need to have a lot of marketing out there. You got to spend a lot of money on the marketing side of this in order to generate leads, because it makes a heck of a lot of sense. In order to bring in leads, I'm going to have to put marketing out there. That's
dude, that's the monkey see, monkey do. Monkey see, monkey do. It's doomed so many investors who they run out of money before that starts happening. They don't do what you teach, man. Oh, it saddens me.
And the thing of it is that, what really the business that we are in, as a real estate investor, really just in life in general, we're in the relationship business. I mean, we're in the relationship business, and that's what we're talking about with these fewer betters. And I'll give you an example of this. I'll give you a couple of examples of how you can bring fewer betters into your life, and kind of what they will do for you as a real estate investor. So, because we're not into the marketing game, because we're in the game of building relationships and deep relationships with fewer people, why don't, instead of going out there and marketing for like probate leads, probate deals, and sending out direct mail, and instead of going out there and spending all this money to the people that are grieving, why don't we just build relationships with one probate attorney, the right probate attorney, okay, that does multiple cases a year? And why don't we become that person's fewer better and buy all of their deals and whatnot? And why don't they come to us first and we perform on all of their deals? And let's say that they do 50, 100 cases a year, and I'm one of their fewer betters because I've built a relationship with them. Well, guess what? Now I've got the end to 50 to 100 off-market real estate deals a year. And oh, by the way, I switched that strategy from me having to pay, do direct mail, send it to the grieving, all the way to, oh my gosh, all these leads are now free.
That not only are they free, but they're warm leads, because you're either dealing with the probate attorney or a staff member of his or hers that is you've dealt with in the past, and they're like, hey, we've got this property that we need to get it sold. Can you get us an offer on it? I mean, imagine that as a result of the relationship, instead of sending out 20, 30, 40 letters a week to the newly opened estates, hoping that you got the right phraseology that gets past their anguish and grief. I can't believe, but John, just from a typical wholesaler perspective, one good probate deal a month and you're in Comfort City.
Absolutely.
One good probate deal a month to wholesale, you're in Comfort City.
Let me give you some other examples. That was an example of having a fewer better. Imagine if you had 2 or 3 fewer better probate attorneys. Do you think that you would even have to do 2 strategies? I mean, you've got 2 or 3 different probate attorneys feeding you 40 deals a year.
Yeah.
And
the only thing you need after that point in time is you need 2 things. I'm sorry, I'm going to say one thing. You need 2 things. You need a really good tax preparer to help you lower your taxes, because you're going to be making a lot of money, and you need to have a really good system of keeping your buyers list under control.
Yeah.
That's what's going on there.
So give you some more examples outside of probate, even though that is a really, really good and solid one. What about a realtor? A realtor that goes out there and, brings in a lot of off-market deals. That's really all they do. Well, they have a sphere of other people. Jeff, you made a comment that you could get to people in the White House. Well, I can't. Well, same thing with realtors. Look at all the realtors. They work in an office. Well, I can't get to all of their colleagues. I can't get to all their other realtors, but they can. So if I find the right realtor, they can feed me in deals. Same thing with like code enforcement officials. You can have relationships with code enforcement officials. Any type of business owner, a contractor, anything like that. I mean, this business, here's what I want you to all to understand, is that this business is not a business of marketing. This business is a business of relationships, and what you need into your life is fewer people with better relationships with those people, and you will absolutely dominate, you will control, and you will destroy everything into your market.
Exactly, dude. I can't say it any better than that. I cannot say it any better than that. And oh, by the way, your cost of doing business and your stress of doing business goes down and your profits go up. I mean, the most stressful thing you're going to run into off of that, John, is how much money you're going to have to pay in taxes.
Yeah. It is all about the fewer betters. It
is.
Really is.
It is. I mean, and the quality of those relationships, to where you know that if they text you or if they call you, that's a text or a call you pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, dealing with 49 people who've got your cell phone number. You're dealing with 5 or 6 tested, true deal partners and deal friends and business colleagues that, man, if they reach out, there's a reason, and you get the call, you take it.
So I would challenge all of you guys to really fight every single day. Who is in your inner circle? Who do you need to throw out of your inner circle? Because Jeff, last time I checked, it's okay to throw people out of your fewer betters as well. If they start to become like a leech, or if they start to become somebody that is crazy, crazy in general, whatever, it's okay to release them from your fewer betters and bring other people in. The sweet spot's really around 8 people, but it's okay to get rid of people too.
Yeah. And if they become a time vampire, time to move on. If they are unable to reciprocate, time to move on. And, I got to tell you, John, my circle of 8 or so people that I put in there, it's not always it's not always stagnant. Some people voluntarily remove themselves out. Some people, you got to kind of help them move on, move forward. That's whatever it is. I mean, there are people who I've used to do deals with on a regular basis. I haven't done any deals with them in the last few years. Why? They're going their way, I'm going my way. So somebody else has filled in their slot.
It's exactly the way that it is. Guys, I want to challenge everybody to really look at your sphere, look at who you have into your inner circle, and really make some adjustments to that, and really start building that. And you know where you start? You start with one. You start with one, and then you build that. You build it, and build that, and then you build momentum. And then the next thing you know, you're going to be absolutely unstoppable.
Yep. So I've got a question I want to close this out with, John, or close my part out with, and then I'll turn it back over to you to wrap it up. up, okay? Folks, are you making decisions about who's in your circle of friends based upon where you want to be or based upon the circumstances that you're in now?
Wow.
Are you creating your fewer better based upon where you want to be, which means you got to get clear about where you want to be? I'll leave it at that, man.
Yeah, because I mean, Jeff, I'm only going to make a comment on that because so many people, I think that they make that decision on where they're currently at now because it's comfortable, and they know where they want to be, but it's comfortable for right now, so they make that decision, but they know that they want to be over here. They want to be over here. They want to be over there, but they're comfortable right here, and then they make that decision.
So our mutual friend, Mr. David Goggins, taught us to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I will tell everybody, I have not went all the way through it, but he does have a new book out. It's called Can't Hurt Me. It really has nothing to do with David Goggins himself, with being like the baddest dude on the planet or anything else like that he is. Great guy. Jeff and I have spent some time with him. Great, phenomenal guy. I would recommend everybody that is listening to this to go and pick up that book. I have been through about half of that book at this point. I got it on Audible, actually. And I'll tell you, it will really, really start to change your mind. And it follows along with what we're talking about with the fewer betters. And it will really change your mind for sure.
One of my boys is reading that book now. I got it for him for an early Christmas gift, and he's told me when he's done, I can have it. So, I mean, but can you imagine having a 21-year-old son that is absorbing that material?
It's priceless.
What that son of mine is going to accomplish in the next 10 years based upon what he's putting in his brain now. Look out.
All right, guys, let me recap what this is. This business and life, really just in general, it's all about having fewer, better people into your life. It's all about having, less people and having deeper relationships with those few people. You really only need about 8 of them to really dominate and control and destroy in life and into your real estate investing business. And then I gave you some examples all about, how this implies to being a real estate investor, because obviously with this podcast, everybody that follows this podcast is either a brand new real estate investor trying to get into real estate investing, or it is an established real estate investor. I want to thank you all for listening to the Real Estate Investing Playbook. Jeff Watson, thank you for being an awesome individual. I appreciate you more than ever, and I'll see you guys on the next podcast. See you guys.
It's reciprocal, John. Peace. We're out.
See you guys.
Win. And I mean you want to win big. You master getting deals from relationships, and you develop follow-up systems. There's not another podcast out there as powerful as this Real Estate Investor Playbook. It doesn't exist.